Welcome, welcome to Freak Out with your psychic medium host, Liz. Tonight, we're actually going to be diving right into the Sebastian Rogers case. It's one of those mysterious and also heartbreaking cases at the same time, and has really left the entire nation completely puzzled. And this all came from Henderson, Tennessee. The amount of people commenting in my comment section to complete this case has been overwhelming. So please make sure to share this particular video on your Facebook, wherever else you have social media. I just want to make sure you guys also help me out so that everyone gets the opportunity to see this case, because I don't know how much of this case I'm going to cover in the future, but I'll explain a little bit later as we carry on. Make sure to press that like button, make a comment, whatever you need, but I really appreciate it. It helps this video get seen by other people so that we can continue to keep bringing you more and more content each day. I also want to point out that we will be recording part 1 of Natalia Grace. Landon and I will also be recording the Eileen Warnos episode next week. So make sure that you are a subscriber on the members only content, because that is where that episode's going to be. And another episode Landon brought forward to me is the Squid Games. We're not talking about the television show. We're talking about real life Squid Games. I didn't even know that was a thing. That will also be on the exclusive side of YouTube. Now, here at Freaked Out, we really go beyond the facts. I'll break down everything we know about the case, the events leading up to his disappearance, the intense search efforts that went into trying to find him. But the question remains, who did this? Who was involved? What happened? It's as if he just disappeared out of thin air. I love to use my gifts to try to figure out where people are. I tune into all of my energies to uncover those hidden truths, and I've been doing this for quite some time, and I'm pretty good. You can ask a lot of my regulars. Oh, and by the way, guys, if you want to book an appointment with me, I have a website called boomspoton.com. You can go book an appointment on my website there. I also have a promo for the entire month of January, and January only. New Year 2025 is the code, so make sure to enter that in at the checkout. All right, so now I want to talk about me and this particular case. With kid cases, they are extremely heavy, and I used to go full force and do like 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 even cases all at like once pretty much. But I've calmed down because the kid cases are traumatizing and devastating and difficult for me. So I try to take them slowly. So if you see a pause between kid cases, you'll understand why. I understand that there are people out there, viewers, that don't agree with what I do, and that's okay. You're entitled to your own opinion. I'm just really trying to help to just channel and try to put the pieces together so that we all as a unit can find this young man. That I am a psychic medium. I'll be spitting off facts, yes, but I will also be providing my visions that are not facts. These are just visions that I receive. I also want to talk about my own personal experience in this case, because I did connect and channel very early on in Sebastian's case, but we'll talk about that later too. All right, now let's get into the case details. Now, Sebastian vanished without a trace, seemingly on February 26, 2024. His mother, Katie Proudfoot, discovered his bed to be empty when she went to go and wake him up for school. Sebastian is on the spectrum of autism and would be considered high functioning. He also has no history of running away, which is a good thing, but also makes you wonder. Right away, the bells are ringing that just something doesn't seem to add up with this particular story. Now, immediately, the police went to search for him right away. And I'm talking about an extensive search, which I'm glad they did. They should do this for all cases, in my opinion. They did helicopters, they did drones, they even pulled out the search and rescue dogs. And then there was also a grounds team that was also deployed as well. Lots of volunteers. They even went as far as playing Sebastian's favorite song, Eye of the Tiger, to just try to search for him. Like, I read that and I thought, wow, that is a beautiful thing. And it helped me channel him, if I'm going to be totally honest. I felt that Eye of the Tiger song, and it definitely brought him forward. Those personal touches really do help things go a long way, FYI, especially children. Children love having personal items, toys. That's why we have all of our dolls here. Well, a lot of them is because of spirits that want to come and hang out with us. They love the dolls. They even went as far as doing a landfill search. And they even went as far as going and doing Kentucky landfill searches as well. Unfortunately, there was no evidence found anywhere. But I also feel like they may have received some sort of tip indicating that he may have been thrown in a landfill or garbage or whatever the case may be. But I don't agree with that at all. Now, his mom and stepfather did public pleas out to everyone, emphasizing their love and desire for his safe return. I'm also not really convinced on that part either. Now, his biological father, Seth Rogers, expressed his faith in the searches and obviously was hoping for new leads. Now, as always, the court of public opinion always has their own theories, but we're going to talk about some of these theories here soon. There were even some rumors floating about that there was a man in a green hoodie, but that didn't lead them anywhere either. I agree with that. No man in a green hoodie. All right, now here's where it gets interesting. I have had one hell of a time with this case. Although I've been able to channel Sebastian himself, he's kept a lot of details away, and that's okay. Spirits don't need to provide everything, but it's very difficult when I'm trying to do a case solving situation, and he could potentially be trying to protect some family members or some people he knows. Whatever the case may be, I just don't think that this person is a random person on the streets. Sebastian's mother also filed a lawsuit against a YouTuber, basically saying that she and her husband are involved. So there's also that aspect as well. There was also even a private investigator that is being sued. There's just a lot in regards to this. And I think that we're, missing what needs to happen here. And that is to bring Sebastian home one way or another. We can do all of this suing stuff later. Why are we focusing on that now? Chris Proudfoot is the stepfather. And again, there's a lot of speculation online that the two of them had something to do with this, which is probably why she is suing the pants off people. But my question is, why are people thinking it was them? There's apparently speculation that because during this time they left the home and a lot of people started to question their motives, there were moments where they were out to dinner. People were watching them heavily, smiling faces. It just gave people a lot of why are you doing this? You don't seem to care too much about your child. That's the energy that I get from people surrounding their decision to leave. But in my opinion, I don't necessarily think that would be a big reason to kind of pin it on them. In my opinion, that would not be the reason why I would push it in that direction. And the police have stated that there is no evidence proving that mom or stepdad were involved in any way. They are cooperating with the police. They're doing their part. So, of course, there's no suspicion on them at this point. At least that's what the police are putting out there into the world, and that's okay. They're allowed to throw out misinformation out there one way or another to throw sense off this way and that way. Now, Sebastian's father has done a few interviews, and that they had two very different parenting styles. He also claims that he just doesn't feel like it's a priority in mom's and stepdad's life to get Sebastian back, which I'm also feeling that energy as well. All right, now let's talk about what I feel in this case. And we're going to go exactly in order of what the visions I saw were and just going down the line. Some things may be out of order a little bit, but it's because when channeling Sebastian, he's somebody who will come in and then be like, oh, okay. Do you like my new toy? Isn't it great? I like it. And then I'll say, well, Sebastian, can you give me some answers surrounding this? And he'll be like, well, the tree was green. Bye. And then he'll leave again, which has been the reason why it has taken me so long to get all of these details. So here we go. First thing I want to say, I am so sad to announce that I do believe that he has crossed over, he has passed on. I don't feel like he is no longer with us, which I mean, pretty evident that that's the direction. I also believe that he passed away before he was even announced missing. It really makes my stomach turn. I see that he's a good kid, a talkative one, but a good kid. I don't see that he caused a lot of problems. He did like his routine, as a lot of autistic kids do. And when things didn't go in the direction of his routine, it would throw him off. He would have harder days. And yeah, he did have a couple of meltdowns here and there, but I mean, what kid doesn't? Spectrum or no spectrum. Now, Sebastian expresses that he loves his father and his mother so much, like he adores them. He misses his bio dad. I believe a few days prior to his disappearance, there was a pretty special conversation between the two of them. Maybe they were setting up their next outing. I'm not exactly sure, but he shows me that his dad always had this way of just uplifting him. I think that particular day that he talked to dad last was a day he was just not having a good one. And I feel like dad uplifted his mood quite a bit. Now, when it comes to the family dynamic, Sebastian tells me that nobody got along with each other. Chris and Katie had a very specific way of doing things, and Seth was more like, yes, he wanted to instill values and, rules, but he felt like at times things were a little militant. And I think Sebastian also felt that way as well. Unfortunately, the vibes I'm getting from Sebastian is that Chris got irritated very, very easily. Could be, the stress of his job, whatever the situation may be, but there was just a very irritated energy. And it wasn't always like this. I would say maybe the last year, things escalated in Chris's life where things are just piling up on top of him pressure-wise. Now, from what I can see, Mom, Katie, would often tell him, chill, like, calm down. You don't need to get so worked up about these small situations. I see that she definitely did try to keep the peace there. Sometimes Chris felt like she was taking his side. There was just an entire dynamic that just wasn't working very well, and Chris was getting pissed off about it. Why haven't the police found anything surrounding them? And are they really cooperating with the police? I believe that there just is like zero trace of Sebastian disappearing. And I do believe, though, that law enforcement is not completely convinced yet. I would also say that they are cooperating because they know that they need to, but I also feel like there's nothing in their home to suggest that they did anything. So, of course, they're going to cooperate. The next question I asked Sebastian was this purposely done? And he's having one hell of a hard time answering that question. But from what I can see, no, it was not intentionally done. Some sort of accident took place here. And all I know is Sebastian wants to protect his family, and that's all I can say on that particular situation. He also wants everyone to know that his mother does cry a lot off camera, missing him, just so you know. I don't know if she knows where he went or where he is. I don't know how to answer that question. And I also believe she's lying about the last time she saw him. I don't know. I just can't get behind the story that he just vanished. No escalation, no nothing. It just doesn't make any sense. Where would he go? From what I can see on Sebastian, he liked being in the comfort of his own home. He was okay with outside and stuff like that, but he just likes his indoor life. Initially, when I had first done the video that I had done very early on, I'd say maybe early April, I kept seeing some sort of disagreement in relation to like video games or electronics. I see that there was an uncomfortable exchange of words. I see stomping and I see him running off to his room. I see arguments between the parents, and that is as far as he'll show me from what happened before he passed. I don't know who specifically did it. I have my suspicion, but I'm not going to share. Did he pass away quickly? Yes, he did. I don't see that he was in any pain. The accident that took place was instantaneous. So there wasn't any suffering, thankfully. I feel something associated with the neck. I also feel like this all transpired at nighttime, not daytime. I can see that garbage bags were not used to dispose of his body. I can hear two people having conversation about his body and like the steps to take to dispose. The people making these decisions, I don't know, they're really like smart. They know what they're doing. Maybe true crime lovers, maybe just pay attention to that kind of stuff, but they were very methodical in how they did this. They made quick decisions and decisions that were going to be like, playing chess so that they were ahead of the game. I also see that the main person involved in this knows the area. Very familiar. Nobody brought phones. Everyone left phones in their homes wherever they may be. I even see that they drove out of a neighborhood very quietly, even had the lights off up until they got to the main road. From the layout that I saw when it comes to where he lived, because he believed he lived in a court, I can see like the little neighborhood and then the highway. So I would say he was definitely removed from his home. This was a team effort. I keep seeing left turns, left turns, left turns. What did they put Sebastian in? I'm seeing like a duffel bag. It looks blue, a very big duffel bag. It's fabric, polyester maybe, but it's big and it looks like it had been used a lot. And the contents of what was in the bag, because I believe there were things in the bag, all of these items were moved to other areas to make it look like these items were never in this bag. Although they did not stay close to where he was living, I am seeing about a 2-hour distance between where they started off to where they ended up. I do believe that the passenger was freaking out. There is some sort of argument in relation to like where they're going. Oh my God, the police are going to find us. Like a lot of sheer panic from passenger. Tears, panic, and blame. Wants to call the police, go to the police station. They passed a police station. I don't see any equipment brought, like shovels, nothing, except one thing. I see a pair of scissors. Although they passed a lot of land, I do believe they came upon a water stream, something that would flow nicely and then float someone about. Now, although I see that they were taken to a stream of water, I do believe there was a little bit of a walk. Now, I am seeing that it could have been maybe to 20 to 40 minute walk. And I'm thinking because of the struggle carrying a body, rigor mortis, like there's a lot of factors here, which may be the reason why it took them so long to get there. But I am seeing that they walked about 40 minutes before they were comfortable with where they were. And then that's when they disposed of the body. I see that they removed Sebastian from the bag And I'm also seeing that they checked Sebastian to make sure there was no like fibers or anything. I mean, there may be fibers, but they were doing a one over to make sure. I feel like he did float away to a degree, but I also felt like a few months back, he kind of got stuck somewhere and was in a standing position, but I do not feel that way anymore. I feel like if anything, there might be a nest of sticks that he might be under. And I think that particular situation took quite some time to make sure that they did all of that correctly too. Now, what did they do with the scissors? I see that they took the bag and they cut up the bag in strips and went to a neighborhood. I'm thinking more of like a rundown, possibly like a trailer park. I don't even believe that it was very close to where they left Sebastian. I would say maybe halfway back is when they did this. And I'm seeing no cameras anywhere. They just took these strips and just threw them into people's bags, tied them back up, and away they went. It was very, very late in the evening, so there wasn't a lot of commotion going on. This is all things that took place before the police were even called. Back in the day, when I started doing my channeling session, I kept seeing like Black Mountain. I even looked at pictures to see if it was familiar for what I felt. Black Mountain and Pishka were the two things that I was feeling. And when I looked up the address of where Sebastian lived to this location, it's about 2 hours and 15 minutes. So fairly close to my timeline of how long they were driving. But I feel like Sebastian will be found. I sense it. I'm thinking it's going to be Dog the Bounty Hunter's team, maybe somebody there. But I also feel like Seth will also be very present. I think this will all happen before mom and stepdad are also informed. But I see that dad is going to be basically the first one, obviously. And no, they're not going to let him come on the property or anything like that. But I do see that he will be found. I was sensing somebody was really close to finding him in November. Like I felt that heavily, but I'm not feeling that now. So maybe there was just a lost moment. But I believe that he will be found this calendar year. Now, what do I see happening with this case in particular? Sadly, something's telling me that there's not going to be enough evidence to convict. There's not enough evidence to figure out where he went. There's no paper trail. There's no communication with other adults. Like there's literally nothing. And it'll kind of just sit cold for quite some time. As time progresses, maybe 10 years down the line, and I hope sooner, but I am feeling 10 years, unfortunately. There's going to be new advances, new technologies to be able to pinpoint things a little bit better. And I feel like that's what's going to happen with Sebastian's case. They're going to relook at it, re-examine it, take all the evidence, and they're going to find something that they did not find the first time around. I also believe that the autopsy is going to claim an accident. I even believe a second autopsy will be conducted. And again, accident will in fact be the cause of death. I do believe that mom's hair will be found on Sebastian as well. But I'm also thinking like that's not going to go anywhere because they live together. It's going to be common for her hair to be on top of him. I also feel like Dog the Bounty Hunter's team was really close at one point in finding him, but I feel like that has since no longer been the case. I do also want to mention too that Ryan Larson, I've done, a podcast episode on Ryan, and I do plan to cover Ryan again at some point, but he's also on the spectrum of autism. He and Sebastian connected very quickly. I don't normally have a lot of like boy energy around. I normally have the little girls kind of hanging out. So it was nice to have another male energy to hang out with Ryan. And they do tend to hang out quite a bit. There are other spirits that I'm not familiar with, but that one I pinpointed very quickly. I also want to mention that Sebastian is not in any pain. He never really was. even emotionally and mentally. Yeah, of course, he misses his family, but he feels like he's in a better place now. Obviously, he misses everybody and wants to be with people, but he's not angry with where he is now. Although he really likes The Eye of the Tiger, he also likes We Are the Champions. And it's nice. His energy is so sweet and pure. Like there was not one bad bone in his body. He's a good, good kid. He's also consumed by technology, and he does have all his technology related things with him. Now, I'm sure a lot of people are going to ask me, why didn't he share? You could only imagine why. I believe he's protecting people. I don't even know. It could even be somebody like a neighbor, a friend, somebody associated with the family, who knows. But I am being shown the two people being involved, one more emotional than the other one. Perhaps maybe one of them is more involved than the other, and he just doesn't want one of them to get in trouble. But if he ever does want to share more information, I think we're going to keep a cap on this case, at least at this point. I don't want to say never, because I don't feel like I'll never come back to this case. But right at this point, I think I'm done working on the Sebastian case, because I believe that there's just too much in the background, and the focuses are in the absolute wrong places, in my opinion, from some people. So that is as far as I'm going to put it out there, because I don't know, something about this case, it's another reason why I kind of kept my distance, just gives me the ick. But anyways, guys, I appreciate you all being here. Thank you so much, and make sure to stay freaked out.